All right, class, we took care of the vocabulary words. We launched our Where Do Great Ideas Come From? And we got a story. We got a story with a dragon. And it's going to have some problems. And we're going to fix these problems with a great idea. If we take a look at our genre for this week, I know it's kind of a weird word, genre. It's a fairy tale. And we're going to learn tomorrow what fairy tales have, but usually they have dragons. Well, other kinds of big feats that you have to master. And they're usually made up. So this would be a fiction story. The Dragon Problem. You can find it on page 22 of your short read. Okay? I'll read it. You pull out your pointing fingers and read along. And then as we cross over our vocabulary words, see how they're used in sentences, because that's going to be part of your assignment when we're done. The Dragon Problem. Once upon a time, long before computers, baseballs, or pizza, there lived a young man named Li Ying. During the day, Li Ying helped his father build furniture. At night, he made unique and original toys for children in the village. He made birds with flapping wings. He carved dragons with rippling, moving scales, sharp claws, and red eyes. Each child in the village had one of Li Ying's dragons. Could you imagine every kid in Milwaukee having a carved figure from one person? He must have been busy. Li Ying knew a lot about dragons because one lived nearby on a mountain. Fiction, because dragons don't live on Earth. A few times a year, the dragon would swoop down on the village and eat the water buffalo, the pigs, and any people, wow, unlucky enough to be around. The emperor had done nothing to get rid of the dragon, even though this summer palace was near Li Ying's village. One day in May, the emperor and his family arrived to take up residence in his summer palace. As the procession passed through the village, the gracious Princess Peng smiled kindly at Li Ying, and he fell instantly in love with her. Boy, I didn't know there was a love story in here too, wow. At dinner that night, Li Ying told his father that he wanted to marry Princess Peng. His father almost choked on the stale, hard rice ball that he was eating. You're joking, his father said when he finally could speak. I'm serious, insisted Li Ying. His father began laughing so hard that the old chair that he was sitting on broke. He lay on top of the flattened chair, still laughing at his son. Now, that's not a very nice thing to do, but it does kind of sound funny that this little peasant from this little village, pretty not important, would marry the most important girl in the whole country. I'll show him, Li Ying muttered angrily as he stomped out of the room. The next morning, the emperor's messenger made an official announcement. Most noble emperor proclaims that that whoever gets rid of the dragon will marry his daughter, Princess Peng. When he heard the announcement, Li Ying raced to the palace to be the first to sign up. Then he looked for his friend Li to help him brainstorm. Instead of ideas for getting rid of the dragon, unfortunately, Li was away. Li Ying sat on a bench frowning. Nearby children were playing with the toy dragons that he had made them. Li Ying, what's wrong? The children asked. I got to get rid of the dragon on the mountain, he told them. I have an idea. You see how all the kids are gathered together, brainstorming, coming up with ideas? I have an idea, said little Ling Ling. That's kind of a funny name. Why don't you carve a giant dragon and leave it by the cave? It will alarm the real dragon and it'll scare him to fly away. Li Ying stared at her. Ling Ling, that's perfect. He shouted and he rushed home. He worked frantically for days to make a huge, scary dragon head. The night he finished, he loaded it into a cart and he went up the mountain. When he got near the cave, Li Ying put the wooden head on top of a big old rock. From the front, it looked like the rest of the dragon's body was behind the rock. Li Ying hid in the bushes and gave a loud roar. Roar! That's my best dragon roar. What's that noise? Growled the real dragon rushing out of his cave. So picture this, fake dragon, Li Ying in the background, roar, and now the real dragon rushed out. What's that noise? Growled the dragon, rushed out of his cave. Then he saw the massive dragon and glared at him. Go away, or I'll eat you up. That's the real dragon talking. The huge dragon, the fake one, just glared at him. He must be very strong. He's not afraid of me, thought the real dragon, who, like most bullies, was a coward. He decided that now was a good time to take a long trip. Actually, I'm leaving, the real dragon said. Please make yourself home in my cave. And the real dragon flew away. A year later, now wait for it, because fairy tales always have what? Happy endings. Here it comes. Oh, it's going to be so sweet. A year later, Liang and Princess Pang were married. They, and say it with me, lived happily ever after. Yeah, bravo, bravo, our first story. Okay, fantastic. Let's go ahead and tackle our assignment now. My videographer is going to zoom in for me. Our assignment is this reading vocabulary sheet. It's actually page number 1. It can be found in your packet under Monday. The first thing that we always do is we put our names on the top of the papers. Most of my videos I remember, some I forget. Some I forget. You need to make sure your name's on there. Okay? All right, we have our 8 vocabulary words here that we worked out on the board that are in your book. Feel free to use your books to help. Just turn back a page. Here's our assignment. It says finish each sentence using the vocabulary word provided. So they give it to you right here. That's the word that I have to use, and I have to use it in a sentence that starts with the young girl. Now, most of my students take the young girl gracious, but that doesn't sound right, so it can't always be the very next word. The young girl gracious, 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 gracious. What was gracious? So I remember gracious when we were working with it on the board was the mom giving the kids fruit. The young girl, how about was gracious when she shared her food. And now I use the word gracious, and so I'm going to put a box around it. Hey, Mr. Bauer, I know what I'm doing. I did it right. The word was gracious. I took it and I used it in a sentence. Now, some kids are going to write, the young girl gracious when she shared food. And it doesn't sound right. You need that helping verb in there. Okay? Let's go to number 2, stale. Oh, that one's easy. There's a lot of things that are stale. Bread, stale. Sometimes if you leave out pasta too long, it'll turn stale. Rolls will turn stale. After 2 days, something turned stale. You put whatever you want in your sentence. I'm going to put donuts. You ever got some donuts and you leave them sit there for a while and they turn rock hard? After 2 days, the donuts turned stale. Okay. All right. Oh, wait. I forgot something. The word was stale. I used it, so I'm going to box it up. Number 3, flattened. He always fixed his hair. He always fixed his hair. Flattened roads, flattened cookie dough. I suppose if my hair is poofy sticking up all the way, I'm going to fix my hair by flattening and brushing it maybe. So he always fixed his hair by brushing it and flatten. Now notice I changed this to flattening. It had an ED, but it's present tense, so I put it ing, flattening. He always fixes hair by brushing it and flattening it, period. And so I had to fix it to match up with it. All right, we got 5 left. Frantically, muttered, official, brainstorm, and original. Those are for you. Those are your assignments. Good luck and God bless your day.